What makes Kazakhstan's first large-scale refractory ore processing facility strategically important, not only for Kazakhstan, but also for EBRD's broader investment priorities in the region?
So I think that Kazakhstan has a lot of potential in terms of critical raw material, and it's very important not only to extract the critical raw material, but also to be able to process them. And that's why this investment is so important in terms of strategic autonomy, in terms of added value, in terms of moving up in the value chain. This is really what the country needs to do. This is why we support that so actively, and we are very happy with this investment, which really increases the independence of strategic autonomy of Kazakhstan.
So what does Kazakhstan still need to improve to attract more and greater investments into mineral processing rather than simply resource extraction?
I think transparency of data, so having access to the whole geological data is very important for potential investors, but also having a very clear, transparent legal framework so that people know, because it's very often a lot of investment, so having the stability of the regulatory framework and the transparency of the regulatory framework is very important. And I think that good progress has been made, but it's also, you can also always improve somewhat the situation, but I think there is we already see a lot of interest from investors, because the critical raw material are key for the AI transformation, for digitalization. So there is all this, need for investment in this area in order to address the demand, the global demand in these sectors.
Do you see refractory ore processing as the beginning of a broader pipeline of industrial processing investments in Kazakhstan?
We hope so, to find the right partners and the right project in order to be able to invest. So, for us, it's not. We have already had some project in critical raw material in Kazakhstan, but this one is particularly important in terms of processing, moving up into the processing, and with a client from the country also, which is, has been a long-term partner for us. So I think that's, we hope there will be more of this kind of project.
EBRD's investments, and I'm just going to cite it, in Kazakhstan fell from 913 million euro. Should this be viewed as a temporary fluctuation in the investment cycle, or does it reflect a more cautious outlook on Kazakhstan's investment climate?
It's clearly temporary because the pipeline of projects is volatile already. So you were talking about last year. Already this year we have invested more than $1 billion in the country, and we probably will end up with something like 1.3 billion euros. So by the end of the year. So I think that it really shows that the pipeline can be volatile. We have some big projects that are shifted from last year to this year. So it's but we really see a lot of investment needs, both in the public sector and in the private sector, and investment opportunities. In energy, we work, for example, this year we had a big energy project in renewable, but also in road corridors, in the context of developing connectivity between Asia and Europe and the middle corridor, in water, but also in private sector, small businesses, banks. Yesterday we signed with a credit line with a bank, KMZ. So a lot of different sort of project, but we are very optimistic about the dynamics of the economy and in Kazakhstan, and the need for investment, and the value-added institution like us can provide, both in terms of investment and in policy work.
Since previous Foreign Investors Council meeting, what improvements have you observed in Kazakhstan's investment climate?
I think the implementation of the digital investment platform is a very positive development, because it is the life of investors, it's much more automatic and so forth. And this is really being implemented now as we speak. So we really see that as a positive development.
But the key, theme of this year's FIC Council meeting is AI. And so in practical terms, how could AI improve Kazakhstan's investment climate over the next 5 years?
So I think AI is a very powerful tool in order to digitalize processes, to accelerate processes. So, for example, it's being used in customs, and you know that we had made a few years ago a big study about the middle corridor and how to facilitate connectivity. And one big dimension of the connectivity is, of course, physical physical infrastructure, but soft connectivity, simpler procedure, digital procedure is very important. So if you have AI in customs, you use AI in custom processes, then it will be much more simple, accelerated, and so forth. So this is typically the kind of thing that can be done, and I think Kazakhstan is well positioned in terms of e-government, digitalization of processes, and so forth. There is already well positioned, because I think this is clearly a priority for the authorities.